What's up, guys? It's Jer, your host, BLEUMAFIA. We got a new site. Did you check it out? You got to check it out. I worked probably somewhere around 8 to 10 hours total. I got the blog into an official website. So, calling all writers, creators, fans, coaches, storytellers, designers, you can be a part of BLEUMAFIA. Check out the new website. I'm pretty proud of it. As some of you may know, I do digital marketing and kind of strategize by day. Bean Media Productions, shout out. If you need any digital marketing, hit me up. So check out the new website. But if you haven't yet, we'll see you over there. It's episode 2. Let's do this. All right, so episode 2, we got a lot of news going on around the league. The Bills had a home stadium practice. It was interesting. Looked pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie. I wish I was there, but I was working on the new site. Check it out. A lot of talk about Terry Pagula Sports Entertainment. News story broke this morning on Buffalo News about somewhat of a proposal was presented to the state regarding a new stadium and taxpayer money, aka the public paying for it. I did a little breakdown on the website. Check it out over there at BLEUMAFIA.com. It's the first new post on the new site, but I sort of broke down some financial, fiscal stuff, the way that the state makes money, some of the numbers surrounding tax revenue, tax spending, what things get spent on, who spends the most payroll taxes. Check it out. We're not going to dive too much into it. Everyone's got an opinion on it. Ideally, I hope that it all works out and we get an amazing stadium out there. Like I said in the article, could have a little bit of a rock pile feel, could have a little bit of Ralph Wilson, a lot of the history surrounding it, could have a traditional feel. Doesn't need to be anything too crazy like the Cowboys or the Raiders. Just something nice, Apparently retractable won't be involved because I don't think they've got the budget. They were going for $1.5 billion, and I was doing some research around retractables. Start around $2 billion, so can't get into the retractable market there. But we're blue collar here in Buffalo, and we don't need billionaires fracking coming down here and making us pay for a stadium. I tell you could shell out a couple shekels, But hey, I'm sure they'll end up making a good deal. And like I said, ideally we get a beautiful new stadium. But it's a good opportunity to educate yourself fiscally, financially. Look up some information. Do some research about how this stuff works, how billionaires get taxed, how you get taxed. Educate yourself. It's always a good opportunity to learn more. We're going to get into defense in the full segi, but a couple little more updates. Olympic basketball looking like they're finally finding a rhythm. They had a nice victory over Iran and Czech Republic. Saransky. The boys got it together. They started kicking it up on defense, started knocking down some threes. I thought the ball does look different. I watched a lot of basketball on League Pass this year, and it does seem like the ball bounces off those rims a little bit odd. Vince Carter touched on it, saying that the balls were a little bit slick. But it does look like those guys are finally figuring that out, which is cool because it would be a shame if we don't win that. And it looks like they've bought into Popovich's system a little bit, which is also cool. Djokovic lost, didn't win the gold. That's, for some reason, satisfying to me. watched an awesome female volleyball match. Both Swedish female teams. That sort of made my Olympics, because that's a sport that I don't necessarily watch too often, but it was extremely entertaining. Betshart for Sweden. Betshart, shout out. What an athlete, what a competitor. Unfortunately, her team lost, but she put in an incredible effort. Kicking it over to the TBT Basketball tournament. Thought that was pretty cool. Bayheim's Army, which is made of a few Syracuse teams, did make it to the final. UB's team, blue collar something, they lost, but great run. Awesome to see that team group get together. Perkins, Harris, Jordan, that even the one guard who transferred to Western Kentucky, he was awesome to play. Clark also, apparently he got signed to Perkins' team over in Europe, so good for him. Unfortunately, he would have helped them. Maybe they don't lose if he doesn't hurt that hamstring. But that was exciting. A little bit of basketball. Who knew? Who knew we'd be this far into football season and still be talking about a little bit of basketball? But when we get back, we're going to break down defense. We're going to talk about the Peak Sports methodology. Not going to dive into it anymore. Go back, listen to last week's. But first episode of Blue Mafia, we broke down all the 4 quarterbacks of each division into the PEAK, Performance, Entertainment, Artistry, Kinship, ranking them by those categories. So we're going to do that quickly with the defenses of the NFL. I love quarterbacks and offense. We'll get into the skill positions next episode offensively, but today we're going to do defenses. So we're going to just look at those. We're going to take 3 top performers, 3 top entertainers, which is sort of like entertainers, artists of a specific style, and kinship, brothers, sisters, teammates, the beauty of the game. All right, so take one quick break. This is a little short episode on a Sunday evening. We will be right back. Thanks for listening, guys. I appreciate it. Tell your friends, tell your fathers, tell your mothers, tell your sisters, tell your friends. We got the old school Josh Allen College Brown edition. I was told by a client of mine that it was a very ugly shirt, but I think it's freaking awesome. He did clarify that it was the colors and the colorway of the Wyoming Cowboys that he didn't like. Denzel's on screen right now. I don't know what movie this is, but he's got a very interesting outfit on. Leather. A lot of people eating food at a small Asian eatery. Anyways, it's defense, baby. We're breaking down top 3 of each PEAK. Break down some names, break down some teams. We're here for you. We're here for maybe fantasy. These are teams that'll probably perform high in fantasy, but just like to break down football teams, because it's a beautiful game and it brings people together, and that's why it's so valuable, and that's why the Bills deserve a new stadium. And so does Western New York, and so do the taxpayers. Cuomo. Googlies. All right. P. Performers. You know what it is. The people that are going to perform at a high level, people that are going to do the work off the field that are going to lead to performance on the field. They just get stuff done. So at the top of that list, we got the Washington football team, led by obvious monster Chase Young, but a lot of names here. We're going to be dropping names left and right here, but these are names I got to watch. Washington football team. Landon Collins coming back from an Achilles injury. Cameron Curl, his replacement, had a great year last year, breakout year. On the opposite side of Chase Young, who is probably the best player to come out into the league since Aaron Donald. Montez Sweat on the opposite side. Good luck with that. And then Allen and Payne on the inside, coming up your gullet, trying to flush your blood if you're a quarterback. Kendall Fuller, William Jackson Jr., I think it's Jr., William Jackson, William Jackson, Kendall Fuller on the outside. And then, I mean, that defense is scary, and you've got Fitzy obviously playing quarterback, so they don't got to do a whole lot. We saw what the one-legged Civil War hero Alex Smith was able to do for the Washington football team last year. Hopefully Fitz plays well for them on the O, but their defense is going to perform at an obviously high level. Second of the P's of performance, I got the Steelers. Obviously, every year the Steelers perform at a high level. The Pittsburgh way of life is gritty, hardworking. Mike Tomlin, you know that every year his team is going to show up on the defensive side of the football, regardless of how skinny or fat Big Ben is. TJ Watt, obvious. Cameron Hayward, obvious. Two monsters. Minkah Fitzpatrick, high performer. Joe Hayden, high performer. Tyson Alou, and apparently, which I totally forgot about, Devin Bush. Crikey. That is a scary defense. They can really lean on that defense, but they're going to perform at a high level. And then third under the performers, I got the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, you know how I feel if you follow me on Twitter about the quarterback, Carson Wentz. He's already got a glass slipper injury. It's sad because it's probably from walking around in his muck boots shooting ducks. Not wearing proper footwear. Always wear proper footwear out there, kids. But the Colts defense is going to perform, and they're a little light on the offensive skill position side. But DeForest Buckner, Darius Leonard, they're just like they're just about two of the most high quality, kind of like Bruce Smith type players. Just, you know, staples of the league, pillars of what it means to be a defensive leader and a defensive veteran in the league. Kinty Pay, rookie. We'll have to keep an eye on that name, but they were very high in takeaways, fifth in the league in takeaways. They perform, and hopefully Wentz plays for them, but who knows with his glass feet from the muck boots. So then next, we got E for entertainers, entertainment. Basically, it's going to be fun to watch. They perform, but they also entertain. They entertain. There's not really any order to the PEAK. It's just kind of how it's broken down. The best of the best. The best entertainment. I have the Bucks. How could you not consider them? You've got Ndamukong Suh, obviously. But I really like Antoine Winfield Jr. I watched his daddy play for the Bills for a long time, and I just really like that Bucks defense. Obviously, they're fun to watch. You know they won the Soupy, so they'll be back, and they're going to be entertainment. They're dynamic. They're young. They've got incredible depth. We'll pull up their depth chart real quick as we go on the fly here. I know I have it. So let's look at that depth chart. All right. Ndamukong Suh, Vita Vea, William Golston, Jason Pierre-Paul, Devin White, Levante David, Shaquille Barrett, Carlton Davis, Sean Murphy Bunting, Antoine Winfield Jr., Jordan Whitehead. Yikes. Kevin Minter on the back. Ross Cockrell. I mean, that is scary. Entertainingly scary. And then also under entertaining, I have the Rams because they're always entertaining. I don't know how long Stafford's going to last. Once again, another kind of glass slipper QB that the defense will probably have to entertain because hopefully that young kid who came in, broke his thumb last end of the year, doesn't have to play again. And hopefully Stafford lasts a year. But the Rams, obviously, they're always entertaining, and I think that they continue to be entertaining on defense. But one of the most entertaining I have here, the Lions, Coach Dan Campbell, also Aaron Glenn is their new defensive coordinator. And I was a big fan of Aaron Glenn. He was a highly skilled player. Just wanted to read you a quick quote that he had here. Glenn, who coming off of DetroitLions.com, Tim 20 Man, cool name, Tim 20 Man, DetroitLions.com had an article here about new defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, excited about Lions secondary. He said here, let those guys loose. Glenn said, we don't need a lot of thinking out there. We just want the guys to understand what's my job. What do my eyes have to coach? What do my eyes have to be, coach? What do I have to do? They're going to go out there and play fast and play with confidence, and it's our job to let that happen. Jeff Okudah, number 3 pick last year, season of growth. Okudah said, really, since I've been playing football, just my most adverse year with everything I had to go through me myself. So he's overcoming injuries, but Dan Campbell, psycho. Aaron Glenn, smooth defender. I think they have a little bit of swag, and I think they entertain. New style, new coach. And then we'll switch to artistry. There's an art to every style, and I am entertained by different styles of sport, different styles of movement, different styles of personality, different arts. For this edition, we've considered the art of the Bellicheck defense, the art of the Bellicheck way. And this is scary because the Bellicheck defense doesn't only speak to the Patriots, who will be fun to watch. They're going to continue to play his style. They've got the new quarterback. Sort of, see where I'm going here is there's a way that the coach, quarterback, you always hear that. But what about quarterback defense? Crucial. How many defenses win championships? You know that. Defense wins championships. Quarterbacks win championships too. When a quarterback and a defense have self-respect for each other and one another and each, for themselves and each other, is what I want to say, that's a force to be reckoned with, because once that quarterback's got the trust of the defense and the respect of the defense, the skill guys around him start to perform at a high level. And at the defensive side, if he has if the defensive captain and the defensive stalwart, whether it's a safety, nose tackle, middle linebacker, if that defensive master has no respect for the starting quarterback, they're not going to trust that kid, that man, that guy, that leader on offense is going to take those guys out there and win the game for them. So there's a kind of weird dichotomy between starting defense and the starting quarterback. So like the way that the Patriots balance that always seems to work out, and Cam Newton seems to be competing at a high level, even though his hair is still weird and he's still typing in a weird font and wearing odd hats. like a cartoon, like Bugs Bunny with his ears coming out of his hat. He's trying at a high level, and it looks like he's really getting into the leader kind of journeyman role. And Mac Jones is looking pretty sharp. They're looking like he's coaching him up good, and the defense is going to rally around that. Stephon Gilmore, I don't think he is a bad player, but he never seems to want to fit. If he doesn't want to fit there, where is he going to want to fit? But Matt Judon is one of my favorite players in the entire league on defense, and they got him. And he was wearing number 9 in practice. There's an art to wearing a single digit, and if he's wearing 9 on the game field, crikey, that's scary. All right, Patriots, we get it. They're going to be who they are. But who else is going to be like the Patriots? The Titans, for one, who apparently got Bud Dupree from the Steelers. Longtime crazy player. I believe he had a bad injury recently, but he's still going to be a psycho, and he's still going to come back and lead that defense, which has got a bunch of big guys on offense. So they're going to fight. Coach not Teddy Bruschi. Oh, man. I have too many concussions, much like Teddy Bruschi. But Mike Vrabel, he's got a culture down there similar to the Patriots, and there's an art to it. They're going to pound you on offense. Tannehill's got the respect of the team. And, I mean, how is Tannehill not going to perform with the people he's got around him? But the defense is going to perform too. Vrabel's got obvious culture there. And then I have the Dolphins because Brian Flores has a very similar art to their defense. Obviously, Patriots tree, Patriots culture. And they're going to have that art no matter where they play, no matter where they show up. They're going to play that hard-nosed defense. And Tua, can he earn the respect of his defense as a young player? He's got Waddle. He's got a couple more weapons. Can he earn that respect of that Dolphins defense? And can they get around the Xavier Howard drama and continue to come together as a team? Sidebar, Jets, Carl Lawson, that's crazy. Melvin Ingram, Steelers, that's also crazy. Couple little additions there. And that's PEA and K making the final of Peak Sports, Peak Media, the Peak Way of Life, Master All Four Ways, PEAK. Study the way, study the book, study the sword. Kinship, brotherly love, unconditional love. Kinship. You love your family, you love the people around you, love the people behind you, love the people in front of you, love the people above you. Kinship. Nothing brings the sport together like kinship. Even the worst teams, as Bills fans, as we know, even the worst teams can still be entertaining because the game of football is so beautiful, and the way that people come together, from coaches to owners, picking players picking a way of life, where they want to live, where they want to stay, where they want their families to be, where they want to spend the rest of their life. Maybe where they were going to work in the future. But the kinship of football is something special, and I got to have the Bills on here because you know they're going to come together again, and you hope that some of this stuff with the Pagulas and the fans works its way out, and hopefully everybody comes together and we see the kinship, that everybody acts like the Bills want to be this beautiful fan base, that Bills Mafia, right? Everybody's so beautiful and together, and now we got a billionaire and a governor and a angry mob. Let's get it together, people. Let's make a beautiful stadium happen. Billionaire pays a little bit. Como gives a little bit. Fans continue to just get, with taxes. We're going to get screwed anyways. I'll take my taxes and give it to the Bills for sure. I don't get health insurance anyways. Shoot. But Kinship also, I got the Saints. Every year, they are just a beautiful team. And we will see, because here's another example. Breeze, long time leader of the city. We remember that final walk-off, the final look-off. Will they have the kinship that he brought the team? I believe they will, because Sean Payton, he's a great coach, it seems like. And I really think that Taysom Hill will continue to play a little bit, but I think they continue to find other ways for him to find like a Tebow role, little H-back, short yardage. I like him in the short yardage. I like him playing a little bit, but I love a Jameis post-LASIK. Which quarterback can earn the trust of the starting defense of the Saints? But they're always fun to watch on defense, man. Even if they're home, if they're home or even on the road. Got a new quarterback. They're going to be more competitive in the cold weather because little Drewski, his little graham cracker arm, couldn't really throw in the cold too well. But he obviously had the trust of his teammates and the city, and that's not easy to have. So they obviously make the kinship list. And then, lastly, Kinship, coming off a weird story of Deshaun Watson and all this gross stuff about him pulling it out in front of these massage therapists and even asking for fingers in the what? But let's take a look at how their defense comes together. No J.J. Watt. He doesn't make any list. Only reason he's making this pod is because he's gone from the Texans, and I want to see how that defense comes together. They've obviously got a weird balance with their starting quarterback right now, but Tyrod Taylor, I imagine, will end up playing quarterback for them when Watson... what's going to happen? How's that going to work? Either way, it's going to be interesting to see what that defense does to come together. How do they overcome that? And what is the kind of kinship and leadership of that new organization? Because you got a lot to work with, and they obviously had to clean house, and part of that cleaning that house is Watson, and who's going to want him right now? But thanks for listening, guys. That's it for today. We broke down PEAK, formers, entertainers, artists, kinship, brotherhood, leadership. I appreciate everybody listening. It's the second episode of Blue Mafia. Check out the new website. I put a lot of work into it. Completely independent. I do digital marketing by day, but I'm just what do they call it? A fucking casual. That's what they called me on Twitter. A fucking casual. Here's to being a casual fan, a former athlete, and a new podcast host. Who's to say we don't need a bunch more? Start your own build podcast. I'll have you on mine, have me on yours. Love you guys. Have a good week.